So this is a Remea, probably an Avanta Plus. Yeah, Avanta Plus 28C. I've been called out because it's dripping. You can see here. So, and it looks like it's been dripping a while because the hydraulic block's gone all rusty. So I've followed this from the condense trap up. You can just see here on the side, it looks like it's been affected by heat. And then if we look at this flexible pipe here, it's actually split. So that will need replacing. Been and fetched a new one. Now you'd think leak on a boiler, stick a bowl under it, I'll order the part and come back. But because this is split in this pipe here, above the trap, we've got products of combustion coming out here, which is why you've got this heat mark on the side. So if I couldn't have got one today and I couldn't repair it, I would have had to turn this boiler off and make it safe. So luckily the merchants had one in, so we're going to whip this one out now. Okay, that's the old trap out, and you can see there it's completely split. So it don't look like it's been serviced for a while either. Okay, so got the new condense trap installed, and I'm going to recommend that the customer has this boiler serviced, because by the looks of that condense trap, it's not been touched in a while. So another monoblock mixer tap. This one the tenant can't turn it on or off. It looks like it's been botched. Some Bristan tap reviver head's been put on a monoblock tap that they're not really made for. So I'm going to be fitting one of these Bristan Easy Fit taps and show you basically how to fit them. The first time I fit one of these I found it a bit of a faff, but I wasn't doing it right, so I'm going to show you in this video how to do it right. So obviously I've turned the water off, drained the hot and cold. This is on a combi, so it's quite easy, and then I'm just taking the old tap out. The old tap's been made in with copper tails, so I've just cut the copper below the worktop, and this is the new tap. So you get flexible tap connectors in the box with the tap, and they come with non-return valve, check valves. So if you need to use them, you can use them. If you don't, you can just use the tap adapter. But, yeah, that all comes in the box. So the best thing about this tap is this thick fixing kit, really. It's different to what you would have normally see that you get with a monoblock mixer tap. And the way it works is you have one removable tap tail and then one fixed, and the fixed one also acts as the fixing kit. You can see there, as I'm undoing it, that plate, which you would normally have separate and have to put on from underneath the sink lifting up, which can be the awkward part, is actually always remaining fixed to this unit. So you undo it to its maximum and then it just slots in like that. So the simplicity of that and not having to faff about under the worktop is what makes this a good tap. Once you've done that, you literally just tighten that back up and it will bring that backing plate up to the sink and tighten it in, and then you drop the removable tap tail back in. Once that's fitted, you then connect the tails under the sink. But the beauty of this is, the reason they call it Easy Fit, apart from that what I've just shown you, is in the future if they have another tap and you choose another Bristan tap from the Easy Fit range, it will fit onto this plate that we're fitting now. So you should never have to alter any pipework under the sink again. So you see that I've just tightened it up, and then I'm just going to drop this tail back in. So that slots in there. Now that's ready to take the tap. So the tap connectors there with the O-rings on, they just push straight into the tap. And then you've got two grub screws that attach to the base, and they attach all the way around so you can turn the tap whichever way you want it to face. that's just the flexible tails just tightening, and they've got an O-ring on, so you don't have to do them hand tight under the sink. So you drop that tail back in, and then there's a decorative plate that just bridges the gap between the tap and the kitchen sink. So once that's fitted, you grease the O-rings, and they supply some silicone grease with the tap. So you just pop a little bit of grease around, and that'll just help you push the tap on easier. So that's ready to drop the tap on now. So yeah, that just pushes down, and then you've got 2 grub screws, one either side once you've got the tap in position. Just tighten them up, and that's pretty much the work done on the top. So then all that's left to do is to connect the 2 flexible tails, and then connect them onto the copper pipe, hot and cold, under the sink. And that's job done. Bristol Easy Fit tap with the fast fit bracket tap adapter. So this next job is not a breakdown. This is a customer who's asked me to service the boiler and also give them some advice on tips to prolong the life. So the first thing I told them was about this glass viewing eye on these. This is like a Worcester CDI, and they're known to crack, and then the heat comes out and melts all these cables and makes a mess of the front cover. So I've advised that they swap that. So the part's been superseded with this new electrode set, and you can see on there that it doesn't come with the glass in it. So I'll just take this one out and show you the condition of the probes. They've obviously been in there a long time. You can obviously see the condition of them. Also the gap there where they spark, the distance has increased. What that means is the spark that sparks between the two won't be as hot as if it was close, so you'll get flame failure, so it'll fail to light or eventually just not work at all. So this is the new set of probes which I'm going to replace with. Most important thing when you're doing anything is check the seal and replace the seals. So you can see I've drained the boiler down. This is because while I'm here I'm going to retrofit a magnaclean filter onto the system, onto the return pipe there just before the boiler. Now anytime I drain a system down, it's best practice to check the expansion vessel. So just attach your foot pump or whatever pump you use onto the vessel once you've drained the system down, and it will tell you what charge is left in that vessel. And you can see on this one that there's nothing at all, it's on 0. So I do this as part of a service, or if anyone calls me and says my pressure's low, anyone can just top the pressure up on a boiler. So always check the expansion vessel and pump it up. So now that vessel's pumped up, we can carry on with the rest of the job. So this is the magnaclean filter which I'm going to attach onto the return pipe there. To make my life easier, I'm using my new rigid 1522mm cutter. To make my life easier, I've disconnected the return pipe from the boiler and took it out of clips so I'm not struggling against the wall. So basically we just cut the return pipe, just cut one piece out, and that'll allow us the room we need to fit the valves on for the magnaclean. It's quite a good cutter this, about 3 turns it takes to cut through 22mm copper. So I've got the valves on, they're tightened up, and then we put this little spacer in, and then the magnaclean filter is push fit, and that just pushes onto those brass tails. And then what you have to do afterwards is you just tighten that red wheel, and that stops anyone just being able to pull the filter off. So now that's all on, whip the magnet out, and then I'm going to dose the system with some MC1 protector, which is basically an inhibitor. So that's the beauty of a magnaclean, you can dose chemicals like that just in there. Stick the lid back on, and then we're ready to fill the system up. So just opening the filling loop, adding some pressure into the system, and first thing you check is anything you've worked on, just check it for leaks. So I'm just venting the magnaclean now, so we know that's full of water now. And then just check the two connections. That's the one I removed off the boiler, and then the new ones on the bottom and the top of the magnaclean. And then we'll go fill it up to just over 1 bar. Make sure you isolate your filling loop, and then we can run and test the boiler. Okay, so once the boiler's been on for a little while, what I like to do is then check the magnaclean. So isolate the valves, bleed it, and then whip the magnet out. So I've spoken to this customer, I've asked them if the radiators are working okay, they said yes. But you can now take the magnet and show them, and if this was full of crap, you can say, look, this is the kind of stuff that's in your system in the pipes. Really, we want to have a power flush or a magnet cleanse on this system. But that's looking pretty good, so I'm happy now just to put that back on, open the valves up and get the boiler working. The other thing you can do is, now I like to give my customers as much information as possible, so just have a chat with them. The piece of pipe that we cut out to fit the magnaclean, I can now show the customer. You can see there it's quite clear, but if that was blocked, all the crap was stuck around the edges, it's another way of showing the customer, educating them on the condition of their heating system. Second job Saturday morning, tenants weren't in. That's the real life of a jobbing plumber right there. You arrange with someone to go around and you drive all the way there and they're not in. And you can't bill them for it, because if you do, the letting agency will say you'll have to send the bill direct to the tenant. The tenant will never pay it, it will never get taken out of the deposit, so it's basically just a waste of your time. And when I ring them later, they'll go, oh sorry, I forgot, or I had to go out, or whatever excuse they'll come up with. But it don't change the fact that I've driven all the way here, wasted my time, my diesel, my money.